Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again at Convicts and Cops. Today we'll be discussing another cautionary tale of a man who dedicated his life to a prison organization. In exchange, his loyalty was repaid with betrayal by his fellow carnales. He would be systematically devoured like a pack of hungry piranha. Before we begin, let's turn to Matthew 26:52 for a quick word from our sponsor. "Put your sword back in its place," Jesus said to him, "for all who draw the sword will die by the sword." I bet most of you have heard this expression once or twice in life. Alejandro Ramirez Ferrel was born on April 6, 1949. In Silver City, New Mexico, but was better known in the gang and prison underworld as Little Moe. As a young adolescent, Moe's family migrated to California and settled in East Los, where Moe became a member of Eloyo Maravilla, one of the oldest East LA street gangs to come into existence. Like so many of the Chicano youth who were seduced by the streets, Moe became a resident of the CYA, the California Youth Authority, and became state-raised. The process of young offenders and fellow rebels meeting up with other gang members behind bars, we wore like a badge of honor. CYA incarceration was meant to dissuade young, misguided men from continuing a life of crime. One can never doubt the seriousness or sincerity of penal programs, but I have always maintained that you cannot rehabilitate anyone who does not want to be rehabilitated. In other words, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Many of us would choose the seductive road to despair and destruction. Like a voluptuous woman beckoning with an enticing finger, we are like sheep being led to the slaughter, and our journeys took us to youth facilities like DVI, the Dual Vocational Institution in Tracy, California, also known as the Gladiator School. On October 6, 1970, Correctional Officer Snell was on duty as the K-Wing Isolation Officer in the Maximum Security Disciplinary Unit at the Dual Vocational Institution. The unit consisted of 24 isolation cells. At approximately 8:30 a.m., Officer Snell began allowing the inmates to shower and exercise. 2 cells were opened at a time, and the occupants were allowed to shower, exercise, and visit with friends in other cells along the tier. At about 1 p.m., Officer Snell released Moe Ferrel, who was 21 years old, and Stefano Guerrero from the Kern Maravilla gang, and age 17, together with black inmates Mervyn Wilson and Charles Wilkins from cell 242. Wilson and Wilkins showered first, and then walked to the north end of the tier. Little Moe and Stefano showered next. When they were finished, they began walking back in the direction of their cell. When they reached their cell, Officer Snell ordered them to lock up. Little Moe and Stefano ignored this command and proceeded down the tier toward Wilson and Wilkins. The 4 men engaged in a confrontation and began fighting. Officer Snell observed Little Moe make a jabbing motion directed versus Wilson and reported a dark object in Moe's hand. Simultaneously, Stefano was observed hitting and kicking Wilkins, but Snell did not see a weapon in Stefano's hand. Officer Snell blew his whistle for assistance, and 3 officers responded to the scene. Tear gas was used to quell the altercation. Snell then noticed that both Wilson and Wilkins had blood on their chests. 19-year-old Charles Wilkins, committed to the CYA for possession of marijuana out of Kern County, suffered stab wounds to the chest, shoulders, back, and neck. According to Superintendent Patterson, Wilkins died at the DVI hospital due to an infection in the chest cavity. Wilson suffered 9 stab wounds but would survive. On December 4th, 1970, Moe was indicted for the murder of Wilkins, and court records provide the details of this event. According to the surviving victim, 21-year-old Mervyn Wilson, the fight stemmed from a racial flare-up which occurred the previous weekend. He said that prior Saturday night, the Chicano Mexicans in the unit started night training, which consisted of starting fires, flooding their cells, making a lot of noise, and calling the officers pigs. When fire was thrown into the cell occupied by him and Wilkins, Wilkins tried to push it away. Wilson then heard somebody say, "Get back, N-word." On October 6th, Wilson said he and Wilkins were talking to another inmate prior to returning to their cell. When Officer Snell told all 4 men to lock up, Wilson observed Moe and Stefano walk past their cell and continued toward he and Wilkins. When Moe was approximately 25 feet away, he made a move toward his pants and pulled out a long piece of steel, which appeared to be a bed spring with a piece of towel wrapped around one end. Moe approached and began stabbing Wilson. When he stabbed Wilson in the lung, Moe blurted out, "I got your heart." Wilson was stabbed a total of 9 times. During this time, Stefano and Wilkins were rolling on the ground, fighting with their fists and feet. Moe released Wilson, went after Wilkins, and Wilson ran down the hall. He observed Moe sticking and stabbing Wilkins. Stefano now was assisting Moe by kicking Wilkins while Wilkins lay on the floor. Wilson never observed the weapon in Stefano's hand. The fight came to an abrupt halt when 3 officers entered the tier. Correctional Officer Stephen Jones was one of the 3 who responded to the alarm whistle. When Jones entered the tier, he saw Moe leaning over Wilkins, who was lying on the ground. Moe was stabbing Wilkins in the chest area with what looked like a bed spring, approximately 4 to 6 inches long. Moe stopped his attack when the tear gas was fired. As Moe fell back from the gas, he passed his weapon into cell 227 to an inmate named Sanders. As Officer Jones attempted to subdue Moe, he saw Sanders flushing the toilet, but he did not see what Sanders dropped into the toilet. Jones did not recall observing any injuries to Moe or Stefano. Officer Calderon also responded to the alarm. Upon entering the crime scene area, Calderon observed inmate Wilkins on the floor and both Moe Ferrel and Stefano Guerrero on top of him. Officer Kuykendall was the 3rd officer to respond to the alarm. When he proceeded onto the tier, he observed Moe bending over Wilkins, striking at him in an overhand motion. Stefano was hitting and kicking Wilkins, but possessed no weapon in his hand. Officer Kuykendall then discharged the tear gas. When the officer succeeded in separating the inmates, Kuykendall noted that Wilkins was bleeding quite badly. As the officers searched Moe, Stefano, and Wilson, Moe turned to Wilson and said, "Yeah, I stabbed you right in your black heart, didn't I?" Wilkins had been instructed to stay on the floor because of his wounds. Moe was ultimately convicted of second-degree murder, and Stefano was convicted of manslaughter. Both appealed their convictions to the 3rd District Court of Appeals, but the court upheld their convictions. Moe was totally devoted to the mariposa, a code word we often use for the Mexican Mafia. Being loyal and dedicated to our crazy prison gang cause was one thing. Moe was an M fanatic. Some may even say he was an M lunatic. A few years after this incident, Little Moe was responsible for adopting the black hand at San Quentin as a visual symbol, a gang sign, that denoted death to our enemies. Like many things we copied from the Sicilian mobsters, the Black Hand had a true mob flavor, converted into a Mexican Mafia thing. Looking back, I shake my head at all this. We were all caught up in flexing our muscles, acting gangster, and demonstrating our ferocity as bad actors. We were indeed tough guys. La Mano Negra, Spanish for Black Hand, would evolve into a menacing tattoo, with Shotgun Sanchez, one of the first members I remember to put the mano on his body. It was an ugly little hand, too. I think Acha, Mike Eisen, made a piss-poor attempt at another ugly black hand tattoo. In my opinion, the first artistic and badass black hand I remember viewing, well after I had already defected, was the mano on Rene Boxer Enriquez. On a side note, Mr. Enriquez not only removed the black hand tattoo from his body, but the nickname Boxer was forever erased from his life as well. Good for him. In a circulated gang communication, we called them kites. Moe sent one to Sonny Ballesteros from Big Hazard, a fellow M. Carnal. Because he had such a long-ass last name, Ballesteros, we all called him Sonny B. Little Moe wrote, "To lose one's life is a little thing, and I shall have the courage to do so if it is necessary. But to see the meaning of this life dissipated, to see our reason for existing disappear, that is what is unbearable. One cannot live without meaning." He signs off with parte de su carnal firme, con mucho cariño y respeto, mi vida, la famosa M. Moe. Loosely translated, he's saying, from your good brother, with affection and respect, my life, the famous M. Moe. This kite was then shared and signed to me from Sonny B. The kite you are viewing was taken from the Mexican Mafia Encyclopedia, and Sonny B writes, parte de su hermano fiel y firme, el Sol, de la famosa M, para mi hermano firme, el mundo emero, con cariño y respeto por vida. May 24th, 1974, AC, SQ. From Spanish to English, here goes. From your faithful and good brother, El Sol. Sol was a code name we had for Sonny B back then. From the famous M. To my good brother Mundo Emero. That's a term for an M member. With affection and respect for life. May 24th, 1974, AC for Adjustment Center, and SQ for San Quentin. Strong words and probably a precursor to an upcoming event that took place with Moe, which I'll let you guys weigh in on. Like many other prison gang members, M, NF, BGF, and AB, Sailor and I and Little Moe Ferrel were unleashed onto society with the passage of SB 42, the Nedgedly Bill, sponsored by California Senator John A. Nedgedly, the chairman of the Select Committee on Penal Institutions. This bill did away with the indeterminate sentencing structure in most instances and replaced it with determinate or fixed sentences. As a result, the CDC began issuing RUAPs, an acronym for Release Upon Approval of Parole Plans. Unfortunately, Moe did not enjoy his freedom very long. On June the 2nd, 1976, Moe was charged in Los Angeles with multiple crimes, including robbery, kidnapping, aggravated assault, and violation of the Dangerous Weapons Control Law. Moe chose to represent himself in what is commonly referred to as pro per status. The privileges afforded by Los Angeles County to defendants proceeding in pro per are extensive and include access to a law library, use of and conferences with legal runners, telephone privileges, witness interviews, and the use of and conferences with investigators. Moe used these privileges to conduct business. Los Angeles Superior Court stripped Moe of his pro per status due to several incidents and disciplinary proceedings while held in the LA County Jail. Evidence presented at a hearing showed that Moe abused his privilege of having a legal runner by passing $440 in cash obtained through illegal gambling activities to his runner in violation of the jail rules, and that he abused his telephone privileges by damaging a telephone. Moe filed a writ seeking the restoration of his pro per status, and it was granted. This may have helped Moe conduct business, but it did not keep him from being convicted. As you have already seen and heard from some of my episodes, convicted felons who became close, especially fellow prison gang members, shared family photographs with their carnales. The one you are viewing is Moe Ferrel's younger sister, Mary Lou, who was from my neighborhood and died tragically at a young age. He gave me this photograph as a tribute to his sister sometime in 1973, about a year after she passed away. The next flick was his pride and joy, Moe's 6-year-old baby daughter. Please bear with me as I break down the dedication on the back of the photo. On the back of the photograph, as you can see, on the upper right, it's dated September 16th, 1974. This was the date Moe dedicated and gave it to me at San Quentin. As I recall, this was while we were housed on Max B lockdown status inside the North Block. If you go down to the mid-lower left, he writes, Tomado en Quilmas el día 19 de julio, taken in San Quentin on July 19th. He took it in the visiting room 2 months prior to giving it to me. To my querido tío, beloved uncle, Ramon, with lots of love always. Su sobrina, your niece, with love, Irene Ferrel, 6 years, 8 months. The inscription continues from Moe. Aquí te presento mi princesa, carnalito. Cuídamela bien. Here I present my princess, little brother. Take good care of her. Of course, he's referring to safeguarding her photo. Esta es la reina de mi corazón. This is the queen of my heart. Orgullosamente, with much pride, now and forever, Moe. En la represa. That's in our confinement. On the extreme lower left and upside down, he inscribes, Give my very best to Otis. And then there's a winking eye. Dodgers all the way. Otis was a temporary code name I used for a bit to confuse the gang officers in our kite messages. A lot of us use those kind of code names. And as you can see, Dodgers, we were always loyal to our team from way back, even before we were prison gang members. At the end of the day, us tough guys did have a soft spot when it came to family. This is why I say that targeting family members, especially kids, should be a 100% no-no for any organized crime group. In 1985, Moe and Eme Carnal Alfie Sosa from Happy Valley were cell partners in Folsom Prison. I have previously discussed instances in which Alfie rubbed various carnales the wrong way to the point that he engaged in chingazos, meaning coming to blows, with Cuate Jimenez at McNeil Island, Ice Pick A.B. Hernandez when they were awaiting trial in the Sacramento County Jail for the Ali Delia homicide, and then with Little Moe. So we fast forward to Folsom, and a heated argument ensued between Little Moe Ferrel and Little Alfie Sosa, two of the most dangerous SOBs in the Mexican Mafia. Little guys for a fact, but I would refer to them as chiquitos pero muy picosos, small in stature but very spicy. Predictably, Moe administered a severe beating, blackening both of Alfie's eyes and breaking his nose. Unfortunately for Moe, he was unpopular with OG members Ernie Kilroy, Roy Ball, and Raymond Bevito Alvarez, two longtime M. Carnales con la palabra pesada, a ton of influence. They undertook a politicking campaign against Moe, accusing him of breaking one of the sacred reglas, or rules, by striking a fellow carnal without sanction from the Big M. On November 15, 1985, in Folsom's 3 block, Moe was stabbed by his then cell partner Daniel Danny Boy Pina from Big Hazard and Angel Stump Valencia from Sangra, while Ruben Tupi Hernandez from Ontario held the cell door shut. Moe was reported to have told his assailants, "I'm dying. You did your job. Leave now before you get caught." Moe was taken to the University Medical Center in critical condition, slipped into a coma, and was connected to a life support system. Longtime Aryan Brotherhood member Wendell Blue Norris was in the University Medical Center also recovering. It was reported that Blue had taped together 2 deodorant containers and inserted them into his garage to stretch out the rectum to facilitate his ability to hide contraband. Unfortunately for him, they became stuck, requiring surgery to remove them. And that's how he found himself in the same room with Moe. On February 13, 1986, Moe purportedly awoke from his coma, and Blue said that Moe told him, "If I can't be a carnal, I don't want to live." Moe then, according to Blue, proceeded to disconnect himself from the life support system and died. I can tell you that Moe, like many Eme guys, was a certified and verified suicidal maniac, but I don't believe this account. I believe Blue, being a highly placed AB member at the time, sent word to the fellas that Moe was in the same hospital, and they gave him the green light to disconnect him from the life support apparatus. Was I there? No, I wasn't. Nevertheless, that's just me weighing in. Doesn't matter anymore since they're both gone to the next life. However Little Moe met his final days on Earth, I will tell you this much. Moe was totally and unconditionally committed to the Mexican Mafia. He lived to be a mafioso, but that didn't mean a thing when 2 other brothers put him on the lista. You may think you're in good standing until your own homeboys, your fellow carnales, are running steel up inside of you. Think long and hard about the life you wish to live, and if you're already serving life in prison, think about how you can be a positive example for your family. Share with others how your bad choices should not be replicated, and how you are going to leave this earth when it's time to meet your Creator. That day will come. We all fall short of God's glory, and He views you just as important and precious as anyone who put in a ton of clean time in their life. Be open to His love and forgiveness, and be ready to receive it, for it is available to all who call on the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Call out to Him. He will answer. Con mucho cariño, cuídense, be careful, be safe. Hasta Luigi, and God bless you.